12:01 p.m. Our officer encountered Michael Brown on Canfield Drive. At 12:04, a second officer arrived on the scene immediately following the shooting, and at 12:05, a supervisor was dispatched to the scene, and subsequent officers arrived. There has been some questions about the calling of an ambulance. The ambulance that was at the sick case on Glenark was coming by immediately following the shooting, and they did respond to assess Michael Brown.
All right, folks, that's another apparent myth that was told, that there was no ambulance, no medical attention given to Michael Brown whatsoever. Anyway, joining us now as we welcome you back to the show is Dr. Christopher Parker, Associate Professor of Social Justice and Political Science at the University of Washington and author of Change They Can't Believe In, the Tea Party and Reactionary Politics in America. Doctor, it's been too long. Welcome back, sir.
Glad to be back, Mike. Glad to be back. Thank you.
Okay,
Steve,
well,
rather. Steve.
You said Mike? That's all right.
I said Mike.
I've been called a lot worse. Anyway, all right. So let's talk about this. Let's ask you how today's revelations, the video, the pictures of the robbery, how does that change the timeline? How does it change the magnitude of this whole event?
Well, so from what I gather, I mean, this thing is moving at warp speed. So I've been out and about today, but from what I can gather, that there have been some pictures that have been released, the photos, still photos that have been released.
And a video now, too, as well.
Oh, a video? Okay, yeah. Well, that must have happened since I left. Okay, so has it been confirmed that he actually robbed it and he just wasn't in the store, just randomly, you know, and they got caught on video?
No. But the video shows him with something in his hand and pushing the store clerk as he walks out the door.
Oh,
that's
wow.
the strong arm, but I guess that's what's defined as a strong arm robbery.
Right. Well, that's obviously problematic. But so how does that change things? Okay, so even if he was, involved in a robbery or he did rob, still, I mean, the fact that he was shot, unarmed, he was unarmed when he was shot. That's, those circumstances are still up in the air. I mean, so how do we know what really happened when we have no reliable evidence suggesting, that he attacked a police officer in the first place? So regardless of whether or not he was involved in a robbery, of course, that's not a good thing, but whether or not that's a mitigating circumstance, I'm still not sure about that.
Right. Well, one thing I think you'll agree that we now know as to why the police were in proximity to him, why the police approached him, and why, there would be a reason for a confrontation. It wasn't just, a cop going to hunt down a black man on the street.
No. That's clearly that's the case. Clearly that's the case. They had some probable cause, so it wasn't a profiling thing. He apparently fit the description, and so the police had to do their job and investigate, what was going on. So, yeah, but still, the fact that he was shot unarmed, that's really an issue, right?
Yeah, absolutely, and we need more answers. We absolutely need more answers. But let me. Here's something that always disturbs me, and we don't know. Were the witnesses who said he had his hands up in the air saying "don't shoot" accurate or not? Who knows? We heard that there was no ambulance or medical attention for him, and now they say the ambulance did respond. So I don't know what the facts are. You don't know the facts are. But this unarmed thing, a cop doesn't know someone is unarmed until they're cuffed and searched, and then they're unarmed. So we don't know that, and this happens all the time. It's not just unique to this case. So we don't know. We hear reports that there was a struggle for the officer's gun in the car, and then a shot was fired in the car. So we don't really know. So this unarmed could be, sure, it makes it seem tragic and is, but we don't know that really enters into it when all is said and done, because it goes to the state of mind of the officer. What he perceived, was his life in danger? Was the guy a threat? So we just don't know.
But aren't there other sort of intermediate measures one can take? I don't know. Don't they have stun guns? Wouldn't that have been a possibility? So I don't think deadly force. None of us were there. I grant you that. Steve. But deadly force should be a last resort. Or the last resort, right? And so,
I don't know. Was it a chase? Was there a battle in the car for the gun? I don't know what protocol is. I don't think protocol is you first, in a chase, in a situation that happens that quick, you first pull out a stun gun. I don't know. And don't forget, Michael Brown, a big man, 6'4", 291 pounds. Again, we don't know, but I just wanted to make clear that, he didn't have a gun, okay, but cops, and maybe not in this case, maybe they did know he didn't, but generally speaking, it could turn out someone doesn't have a gun. But if you're, and again, this may not be this case at all, but if a cop says put your hands up, and someone reaches into their pocket and they're shot and they didn't have a gun, the cop is legitimate in shooting because they disobeyed orders. He thought he might be reaching for a gun. So until the guy's cuffed, and again, it might not apply here, but in general, a cop has no way of knowing someone's unarmed until they cuff him and search him.
Okay, now I'll grant you that, but let me put it to you like this. I've been on both sides of this because I used to be a probation officer before I went into
Really? I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, I was a probation officer at LA County Probation Department for 5 years. So I've been on both sides of this, and I've been profiled as well. So let me put it like this. So if you're a black man and one is accustomed to this happening, there's just a certain point in time where it's like, I've kind of had enough of this. So we're not going to be like, okay, Mr. Officer, sometimes we're not going to be as quick to comply. Now, I'm not saying this is the case here, but I'm just saying when you look at the history, think about what happened at Fruitvale Station a couple years ago with that young man who got shot.
In Oakland, you mean, with the
Oscar Grant.
Was that Oakland? Was that the Oakland train station?
Yeah, that was Oakland. This thing has been going on for a very long
time.
Well,
that to me is, I don't even remember how that was adjudicated. I think the officer was guilty, if I'm not mistaken. But that seems a lot different than for the most part. Again. Okay, so you as a probation officer, now you're saying now because you've been profiled or someone who's been profiled may not jump when a police officer says jump. You know what? You've got to. If it's a question of the officer suspecting you're a criminal and armed for your own protection, you better do what he says.
No. I'm not denying that. And if one is thinking rationally, yeah, that's what you do. But these are emotionally charged situations for most black men because it's like, oh, I got to go through this again. You simply get tired of it. One simply just becomes tired of it. Now, just think about what happened recently. You probably don't know about this, but just think about what happened recently in L.A. You had a Superior Court judge that was on the campus of UCLA, my alma mater, that was profiled on he was profiled on campus. He got hit by a police officer because he felt like, I'm going through this again. I'm a freaking judge. So I'm telling you.
Well, you'd have to explain more what the was he.
His name is David.
Okay, but what were the circumstances? Why did the cops approach him, and what did they ask of him that he reacted that way?
Well, because apparently he didn't have his turn signal on when he made a turn. Now that's disputed. But the fact of the matter is the way the officer approached him. He approached him as though he was a common criminal, and this man is a judge, is a sitting judge on the L.A. Superior County Court.
Did he know he was a judge?
Does it make a difference whether or not he knew he was a judge? Right. The fact of the matter, what I'm trying to convey here, Steve, is that the judge is like, you know what, I'm tired of this.
All right. Well, so then if that's the case, what's the solution? Because if black areas are high crime areas in the cities and many other areas, and they're more likely to be crimes and murders and rapes and robberies and whatever. What are cops to do then?
The solution is to get more black cops because they're more empathic, they're more empathetic to what's happening. They're going to be more sensitive to how this black man is feeling. You need to get more black cops. That's what you need.
So in other words, what? The judge wouldn't have been pulled over?
I'm saying that a black cop would not have approached the judge. And I'm not saying he wouldn't have been pulled over, but I'm saying that a black cop would not have approached the judge the way in which the judge was approached.
Well, I don't know enough about it, but I think it's a blanket statement that you can't make.
Oh, yes, I can make that. There's plenty of empirical evidence, and if you give me your producer's email, I will email him the empirical evidence on this that's been done time and time again.
So what you want black cops to police black people?
I think it would be easier that way. I think
really
relative fewer. You know what? And if you want to call me on saying this is essentialism, I'll say that all day long. And I don't care what the implications are. People want to say there's difference. Yeah, there's a difference here because black cops are going to be a lot more empathetic, just like I was when I had black probationers, when I was a black probation officer, because I grew up in the same neighborhoods that most of these guys grew up in. I could understand where they were coming from. And I was a lot more empathetic when I wrote their court reports. You damn right. I'm going to say that.
But when it comes to a criminal in the street, I think a black cop or a possibly armed suspect that you don't know is armed or not, you're going to be this. You're going to act the same because it's your life, whether you're a black cop or a white cop.
I'm not denying that. But what I'm saying is a black cop is going to approach the suspect differently.
Under certain circumstances, possibly, but not when it's, does this guy have a gun and am I in danger? I don't believe that.
But what I'm saying is that a black suspect is going to be more likely to comply with a black cop.
Oh, that's turning it around, and that's a problem that's on the suspect. I don't think that. Look, we'll have to continue this debate because the clock says got to say goodbye. Hey, doctor, great talking to you, Chris.
Good talking to you too,
Take
Steve.
care. Dr. Christopher Parker, ladies and gentlemen. All right, folks, before we go, we want your opinion. Should children of illegals be deported or educated? Go right now to newsmax.com/poll and vote. Don't go.
Fall